Hello, and welcome to In The DeNovo, a series of video interviews with today's thought leaders on everything to do with treasury management, product management, and instant and faster payments, covering topics from payments to industry trends and other exciting subjects coming in the future. I'm Will Grace. I'm the host, founder, and managing director here at DeNovo Treasury. We're a consulting firm focused on helping financial institution leaders define strategy, transform client experience, and grow revenue in the treasury management space. Thanks for joining us and staying in the know with In The DeNovo. Yeah, so we talked about process, product, people, right? And that's so there is a piece of this where you do have to have the right products and services that the relationship will take you far, and the people will take you far, but at some point you do have to have the right products and services, and so you do have to make some choices about where you're going to invest in those things. And how have you gone about trying to make those decisions as a growing bank about where you're going to invest those dollars? As you can't be all things to all people, right?
Right.
You can't. You're not going to compete right away with all the large financial institutions. You kind of have to pick and choose your battles. How have you found that for being becoming a mid-sized financial institution? How have you been making those decisions?
Well, I'm going to say no rocket science here, but the first thing is to realize I don't walk in the room thinking I'm the smartest person in the room, right? So I need help, and that's really, Will, how you and I connected, being introduced through a former colleague of both of ours at prior different shops, and so I think asking and getting good help really is valuable in all of this. The other thing I would say is it's pretty straightforward of thinking about, where are the gaps that I have between where I am and where I need to be, as I think about the business I want to go after. And then what is the price of admission, so to speak, of how I'm going to close that gap. And so sizing those up of what they mean in terms, and this is where the roadmap matters, right?
Yeah.
What is it going to take to close that gap? What am I going to get for that? But the other one that's super important is, how is this setting the stage for what comes second and third? I think having that really comprehensive view is super important, and because we all have to make trade-offs, right? There's some things I want to do everything, but I can't. So staging it up in the right order, I think, is critical in the treasury management space.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And so, thinking about that, and then kind of thinking about kind of segmentation and how you approach industry segments or verticals, how a financial institution goes about investing there and growth and treasury management there. Are there certain ones right now that are kind of standing out to you that you feel are good industry segments or verticals that are ripe for treasury management?
Well, I would say a couple of things. One, you and I talked earlier in the conversation about how valuable and critical treasury management is for C&I lending, and that's certainly at MidWestOne, like it is for so many shops, growing C&I because of what the lifetime value of those relationships mean. That's very important to us, and that can't happen without TM. So generally speaking, I think about C&I. Getting a little more specific, when I think about property management companies, title companies, nonprofits, agribusiness, those are a few examples where I feel like treasury management can be a real value add and differentiator.
Any words for emerging, aspiring financial institutions that are like starting to try and plan for treasury management? They need to grow. They're not quite sure where to start.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is, and this will be, I think a lot of my financial institution colleagues in the industry will relate to this. I think we have to be very careful and sensitive to core dependency and how much that can become an obstacle and a barrier. And so sometimes what may feel like the fastest route, which often the assumption is the fastest route is to go with the core offering and plug it in and so forth. Those don't always connect and plug and play as easily as people, I think, assume. And so I think probably the most important thing, it's like every other part of our business. I think it's super important to get outside the walls. What do I mean by that? I think, I think having meetings with vendors and prospective vendors to hear what and realizing they've got an agenda, right? But I think we can learn things in those conversations. I think peer groups are very important. Finding colleagues how are they answering some of these same questions, and what vendors have really brought value to them and so forth. I think that can be very helpful. And then, being outside of the walls, the most important thing I think we can do is time we spend with our customers and our prospects to really get a sense of what they're thinking about, and then thinking about, okay, how can I come alongside them and really add value to what's going on in their world.
Very good advice. And I'll harken back to something you said before, as you're saying, listen to vendors, but also remember they have an agenda.
Yeah.
Remember that piece, which was advice you gave earlier. I love it when a good conversation comes together. We are so lucky to have friends willing to sit down and talk with us about the industry. For more content like the video we shared today, check out our website at DeNovoTreasury.com and our YouTube channel at DeNovo Treasury. Thanks for joining us today for In the DeNovo. See you next time.